What color comes to mind when you think of Chinese royalty? Yellow, right? The golden robes of emperors. But here's something that might surprise you. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify all of China, wore black. Not yellow, black. Why would the most powerful ruler in Chinese history choose such a dark color from what we expect? The answer lies in something far more ancient and mysterious than royal tradition. Divination. In this video, we'll uncover how ancient Chinese divination shaped not just clothing choices, but the very foundation of every Chinese dynasty itself. We need to go back, way back to ancient times of China, before Zheng He fleet, before compass invention, before Li Bai and Du Fu. No, we are not there yet. Before three kingdoms, before spring and autumn period too. Now it is correct. The era of 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. Before the 21st century BCE, in Chinese mythology, ancient kings such as Fu Xi and the Yellow Emperor were all characters with many divine abilities, one of which was the ability to divinating or forecasting the future. Facing the vast and diverse natural world, ancient people felt both awe and hope to have a method to grasp their own destiny, and divination was a thing to believe in when there is nothing to count on. Next, during the Middle and late Xia Dynasty, along with the development of astronomical calendars, astrology and divination occupied an extremely important position in the political and economical life of the state. The heavenly stems and earthly branches used in the BaZi, or you can call it 4 pillars or 8 characters, were formed during this period. Shang Dynasty is the era most people believes in deities and spirits. Oracle bone inscriptions appeared at this age are records of the divination activities of the Shang royal family. Divination was required for nearly everything, so it was not strange if you found your neighbor go to a diviner asking whether he should sell his pigs or not. Oracle tortoise shells was found at the Yinshu ruins, the last capital of Shang Dynasty. People at this period recorded the events that needed to be divinated on tortoise shells, then lit them on fire. Then they would base their predictions on the shape of the cracks that appeared after burning to predict the future, and to know in advance whether it is a lucky or bad luck event. This was among the earliest forms of divination in China. The term divination also originated from there. The most iconic milestone of Chinese divination in Western Zhou Dynasty is Chu Yi showing up. Considered a collection of ancient books, Chu Yi consists of 2 parts, classics and stories, said to be composed by King Wen of Zhou. I Ching, or the Book of Changes, is believed to be a part of this collection. I already had a video about I Ching coin casting tutorial, so you can watch it for detailed history and usage of this wonderful tool. Spring and autumn period. This is a chaos era where China is divided into nearly 100 of countries and territories. Also in this time, lots of talented heroes and strategists appeared, along with war tactics and political theories. Those things still remained and passed through following ages. A worth noting idea is Confucian concept of true Ming, or knowing the destiny. Confucius emphasized that a gentleman must know destiny or to follow the movements of heaven. It is an important component of the Confucian thought of Confucius, Mencius, and later Confucian scholars. Along with the increasingly widespread spread of Confucianism, this thought has deeply rooted in people's hearts. As a consequence, the art of analyzing destiny in ancient China was also born under the influence of this thought. This is also the time of Guiguzu, a philosopher whose teaching and influences could be compared to Machiavelli of the West. His real name was Wang Hu, the founder of the School of the Vertical and the Horizontal. Another name is School of Diplomacy. Famous orators such as Su Qin, Zhang Yi, Sun Bin, and Pang Huan were all his students. These people were talented genius. They all became strategists serving different countries at time. Guiguzu wrote the famous set of book under his name about different strategies of observation and persuasion, which is believed to comprise of 3 different books. Because he lived in seclusion, so life and background were also covered with a veil of mystery, and he was called as the founder of Chinese divination. Another important character of this era is Zhu Yan, who was a man from the Qi state during the Warring States period. He was a philosopher with extensive knowledge. Based on the inheritance of the ancient metaphysics knowledge, he found school of yin-yang and five elements, along with the theory of the five elements and their mutual influences. This theory claimed about the five elements generating and restraining each other's. Moreover, it was used to explain the changes and development of nature and society, which was the theoretical foundation for later schools of divination, including BaZi. Beside that, Zhu Yan had the theory of five virtues, which became the most influential historical viewpoint during the following dynasties of Qin and Han. And this is the key to answer the opening question of this video. Why did Qin Shi Huang Emperor wear black? We need to dig a little deeper about Zhu Yan theory. He believes that there are mandate of heaven above and mandate of the earth or human below. These two needs to be in synergy together. On heavenly realm, these elements will follow and replace each other in terms of restraining cycle. So does the earthly realm. Therefore, ruler of dynasties must take turns following five elements orders. The Yellow Emperor or Huangdi times was in earth element period. The Xia dynasty was in the wood period. The Shang Dynasty was in metal period. The Western Zhou dynasty stayed in the fire period. And the next dynasty must be in water period. Qin Shi Huang ascended the throne to replace the Zhou dynasty, believing that the water virtue replaced the fire virtue. So he changed the laws, regulations, and clothing colors and flags to black, as it is the color of water according to five elements. After a volatility spring and autumn period lasting over 500 years, China finally got united under his hand. He needed a reason to persuade his people that he is the chosen emperor inheriting the legacy of Western Zhou dynasty. Zhu Zan's theory perfectly fit the idea, so it later became the most important theory on the political activities of the Qin dynasty. During the reign of Emperor Wu of Han from year 141 BCE to 87 BCE, Dong Zhongshu advocated abolishing all schools of thought and upholding Confucianism alone. From then on, other schools such as School of the Diplomacy and School of Yin-Yang gradually disappeared. The yin-yang and five elements ideas was gradually absorbed by Confucianism, becoming the theoretical foundation for the Confucian concept of destiny. This concept gradually became a kind of cosmology and philosophy of life that had a profound influence on the Chinese people. During the Han Dynasty, the rulers had to ask the heavens or the gods for important decisions. Magic and spells were extremely popular. So did the art of divination and predicting lives. The famous scientist Zhang Heng was also well versed in divination and predicting lives. During that period, many books on this topic appeared, the most famous of which was Lun Heng or On the Way by Wang Chong. In Western Han Dynasty, the famous scholar Liu Xiang gathered his disciples to compile the first comprehensive classification catalog that systematically reflected the country's book treasure, which was the Shu Shu Lu, or the art of divination. At this point, this collection was officially positioned as an important type of records, proving that divination had been officially accepted by the contemporary government. 3 kingdoms and 2 Jin dynasties, 220 to 420. One talented strategist showing up in this warring era was Zhuge Liang. He could observe the stars and knew the weather conditions. Also, he could read the physiognomy and know that Wei Yan would later rebel. Liang was recognized as an overall talent man, worthy of being well-versed in astronomy above, geography below, and human affairs among others. During the 3 Kingdoms period, he used the art of divination many times, especially in the Battle of Red Cliffs. At the last moment of his life, he also used a hidden art, making sacrifices to the stars to prolong his life. There were many evidences showing that he knew how to use divination and other metaphysics at mastery level. In 3 Kingdoms period, there were many divination masters: Chu Jianping of physiognomy, Zhu Chun of dream interpretation, and Guan Lu of I Ching divination. These people were praised of having extraordinary skills by the records of 3 Kingdoms. According to legend, the Jade Scripture of the Jade Emperor was compiled by Guo Pu of the Jin Dynasty. This was the first work on divination in China, but its theory only mentioned yin-yang and 5 elements and had not yet developed the complex system of Shen Sha, one of BaZi's modern component. Though Guo Pu work was limited, It successfully laid the first brick of modern BaZi Four Pillars. Guopu was called the ancestor of Chinese Feng Shui. He was the first one to claim the very core idea of Feng Shui we are using today. By two sayings, qi disperses when it meets wind and gathers when it meets water. Also, mountain rules man's, water rules wealth. He wrote Zangshu, or Book of Burial. This is the book about Feng Shui for the deaths, which is not less important than Feng Shui for the livings in Chinese traditions. Guopu correctly predicted the date of his death, and there were many magical stories around this character. The coming up eras are of Sui and Tang dynasties. Li Shuzhong was honored by later generations as the founder of the BaZi 8 characters divination technique. According to legend, he could predict a person's status of nobility, meanness, longevity, and weakness through the year, month, day, send him the information of 100 people, and he could correctly predict 98 to 99 status out of them. His most famous work was Li Shuzhong Ming Shu, or Li Shuzhong's Book of Fate, comprised of 3 different books. His writing in the first book was the evidence showing him was the first to establish the 8 characters divination method based on the day heavenly stem. BaZi is the crystallization of the wisdom of the ancients. Due to possessing a unique prediction method and profound cultural roots, it has become a branch of Chinese divination with the strongest foundation among the masses. The image of the 4 pillars deities is the embodiment of the 4 pillars in the Taoist divine system. Ancient Chinese believed every year, month, day, and hour are ruled by a specific deity. Li Bing is the ruler of year pillar. Huang Changyi governs month pillar. Xu Deng rules day pillar. And lastly, Liu Hong rules hour pillar. Xu Ziping was an important diviner in the northern Shang Dynasty. Based on the 3 pillars of year, month, and day of Li Shuzhong, he invented the system of 4 pillars of year, month, day, and hour. BaZi as we know today is also called Ziping method. That is because this system follows his teachings. Yuan Hai Ziping is a relatively complete and systematic work on the 4 pillars of destiny, compiled by Xu Sheng of the Shang Dynasty, based on Xu Ziping method of divinating one's life. This is the earliest classical Bible or the first attempt to compile BaZi knowledge into a book. The Yuan dynasty's divination works mainly include Ziping Sanming, Yuan Yuanzhu, or the Book of Ziping Ancient 3 Fates. This book no longer limits the theory of BaZi to the innate fate in a simple way, but asserts that if people know how to accumulate virtue and strive for progress, they can still change their fate for the better, which is very important for the perfection of Chinese divination. After more than 1,000 years of development, by the time of the Ming Dynasty, the theory of divination was nearly completed. Its popularity also reached its peak. The founding fathers of the Ming Dynasty, such as Zhu Lian and Liu Bowen, had personally compiled divination works. The work San Ming Tong Hui, or the 3 Fates Meeting, compiled by Wan Ren Ying of the Ming Dynasty, has rich content, is the first encyclopedia of BaZi. By the Qing Dynasty, BaZi Four Pillars was no longer a subject reserved for scholars, but begun to enter the daily lives of ordinary people. Important activities such as funerals, weddings, exams, business, etc. were all associated with 8 characters, and matching BaZi became a common saying among the people. As the largest official encyclopedia in ancient Chinese history, the complete library of the 4 treasuries collected and copied a large number of works on divination and compiled them into the book, The Art of Divination, which includes works discussing the 4 pillars' 8 characters such as the 3 Fates Meeting, the Jade Scripture of the Jade Emperor, and Li Shuzhong's Book of Fate. In modern China, the subjects of divination and feng shui have been officially taught in schools, especially in the ancient culture department, as well as introduced to foreign students. Some research institutes and associations have also been established to promote research, application, and cultural exchange. To wrap things up, this video is a thread that pieces through nearly all of my videos so far, from Fuxi, Shen Nong era to the explanation of yin-yang, 5 elements, Bagua, and I Ching coin casting. You can watch all of them in my playlist. I have a little question for you. Which dynasty or character do you think has the strongest impact on Chinese divination? Do you want to know more about them? Just comment below, and I will read them all. I am John, and if you find this video interesting, please click subscribe to see more videos in the future. Now thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.